The name of this story is Say Cheese. Granddaddy owned Mitchell's Auto Supplies. That's Granddaddy Mitchell, Mama's father. Owned Mitchell's Auto Supplies in Martinsville. Now, you would have thought that he owned that store because he loved cars, trucks, anything that was a car. No, that was not what he loved at all. What Granddaddy loved was food. I don't mean just eating food. Granddaddy liked to eat it, think about it, order it, buy it in bulk. I remember seeing him walk around in the house with one of his many food magazines that he ordered and say, Beanie Bits, I'm going to have to order me some of those. He ordered some of most anything. That's probably the reason that he and Grandmama Pat had those 3 freezers on their porch. Now, one freezer on top of the refrigerator was not anywhere near enough for them. Granddaddy in particular needed 3 freezers. He would buy this in bulk at the grocery store when they went to the beach, Morehead City, and Morehead City, North Carolina. He would go and buy often 50 or 100 pounds of shrimp and bring it home. And I know, yeah, you've got your mouth is open wide. Yes, they would buy that, bring it home, bag it, and put it in one of the 3 freezers. Now, the first 1.5 freezers were for turkey, beef, lamb, pork. And the second 1.5 freezers were for seafood. That was flounder and other fish, shrimp, devil crabs, anything that Granddaddy could find to buy. Well, meat and seafood were not the only things that he liked. He also liked cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, which he ordered from a place called Hoffman and Dudo in upstate New York every year. He would order cheese for us, for him and Grandmama, for friends in the neighborhood, some of his best customers at work, friends at church, some of his relatives who lived out of town and having the cheeses shipped to them. So he was working on his adding machine, as he often did, and added it up. You could get a cheese that was 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, all different sizes. And as he added it up, he found, it comes to 100 pounds of cheese. I was out at Grandmama and Granddaddy's house one day when I was 5 years old and too young to start school. And I noticed a big truck pull up to the front of the house. And 2 men got out of the truck, opened the back doors, and took a large, tall cardboard box out. I called Ella, Grandmama and Granddaddy's maid, who lived with them for 34 years. Ella, there's somebody coming through the door with a big box. So she came up, and these men took their dolly out and put the big box on the dolly and pushed it toward the front door. Rang the doorbell. Ella answered the door, and the man said, I have a delivery here for Mr. Steve Mitchell. Just a minute, replied Ella. I'll get Ms. Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell, you need to come over here and sign this form. So she did, and she said to the man, it's from Hoffman and Dudo, I see. You need to take this, it's cheese. You need to take it back to the breakfast room, and Ella and I will unpack it after you do. So the 2 men wheeled the dolly with the big box of cheese back to the breakfast room. And Grandmama thanked them, and after the form was signed and they were finished with it, they left and drove off. Grandmama said to Ella, now, Ella, you go get a knife and we'll cut this big box open and get the cheese out and get it into the refrigerator. This was refrigerator number 2. Now, refrigerator number 1 was in the kitchen. Refrigerator number 2 was in the laundry room, and that was for extra stuff. So Ella did that, came and cut that box open and pulled it down. But what she and Grandmama found in it was not a collection of 1, 2, and 3 pound cheeses. She found one 100-pound cheese. I looked up at it. It was so tall. I had never seen a piece of cheese that big in my whole life. I looked at it and I ran around it and I said, oh, that is really something. Oh, it's so big. Ella started laughing because she had served Granddaddy Mitchell Lord knows what. She had to prepare all kinds of food for him, all of the things that he had brought home. But Grandmama Pat wasn't amused at all. I just saw her go into the telephone room and I heard her say, Steve, you gotta come home now. Slam! The slicing started that night. Mama and Daddy were contacted by Granddaddy, and the 2 of them, along with my sister Julia and me, Bob was not yet born, went out to Grandmama and Granddaddy's house. Mama and Daddy took with them several long pieces of wire, along with some thick work gloves that you would use in the yard. And the 2 of them and Granddaddy started slicing. Grandmama wouldn't have anything to do with it. She was so totally disgusted with Granddaddy. Ella entertained Julia and me in the living room, and that's where Grandmama stayed most of the time. Occasionally she would go back in to see how they were doing, and then she'd come back out about 5 minutes later just grumbling up a storm. They had to saw back and forth with those wires that they had taken out. Now they didn't come out to exactly 1, 2, or 3 pound cheeses, but they got as close as they could. And by the end of the evening, the entire 100-pound cheese was sawed apart, and the cheese is put out on the table. Mama and Daddy got Julia and me ready to go home, and Ella and Grandmama went into the den, went into the breakfast room to wrap up the cheeses and get them into the refrigerator. You may have heard during the time of your life that some people around here in the world are the big cheese. Granddaddy was not the big cheese. He just had the big cheese.